President Trump's at the G7 summit and he sits down with France's leader Macron. And Macron does what you expect him to do. He goes yabba, yabba, yabba about Trump behind his back. And then when he goes face to face with Trump, he literally kisses his shoes. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. All I ask in return is for you guys to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. You're going to love this.
Will you be in Geneva on Friday, Mr. President?
Will you meet Zelensky?
What action are you expecting from the Europeans?
Are you happy with the deal, Mr. Trump?
Merci beaucoup.
So I want to congratulate the President. Last night, Cyril Gane won the fight against a great fighter, supposed to be unbeatable. And that was it. Cyril is from France. Did you watch the fight?
Yeah. Not in direct, but I saw it this morning.
That was a great fight. It was a great evening at the White House.
I was very proud. Seriously.
Mr. President, does the deal involve any sanctions relief for Iran? When would that go into effect?
No, it doesn't. Well, they have to. It's really a behavioral thing. If they do what they're supposed to do, that starts taking effect.
Mr. President, when will the text of the MOU be released?
I think pretty soon. I would say, I want it to be released because it's a very powerful document. It's not like the Obama document, which was just a terrible document. It's a very powerful document, and I want it to be released. So probably pretty soon. I would say sometime after Friday, because the strait opens completely. It's open now, but it opens completely. We'll have all the mines knocked out of. For the most part, we have a lot of lanes right now already.
Mr. President.
So I think sometime in the very near future. Yeah. Emmanuel has been a special friend of mine. We've had a fantastic relationship. We've worked on many deals together. I'm very happy to say we're signed. The deal's all signed, and the strait is already partially opened. As you know, they're doing a little hunting for a couple of mines that they've already found. But it's essentially ships are starting to go out now. On Friday, it'll be completely opened. We got along very well with Iran. It's a different set of leaders. As you know, the first set is gone, the second set is gone, and we found the third set to be very smart, strong, very smart, but we ended up making a deal. I felt badly that we had to go back on the attack for 2 nights, and I thought a third, but we made it before that happened. But I think a lot of great things are going to happen in the Middle East right now, and very importantly, the oil is plummeting down, and the stock market is shooting up like a rocket today, like record kind of numbers, and the oil has taken its biggest plunge, and we're into the low numbers, not quite back yet, Kevin, to the extent, but we're getting close to the numbers we were before it all started. And the main thing is that Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. They fully agreed to that with strong policing powers, and they won't have a nuclear weapon, which is what it was all about, because they probably would have used it if they had it. So we had 2 big moments. When they terminated the JCPOA, that was the Obama deal, the Barack Hussein Obama deal. And when I terminated that, it was very important because it was a road to a nuclear weapon. It was a horrible deal for the United States. It was a deal where billions of dollars was given to Iran. It was a deal where $1.7 billion in cash was put on a Boeing 757, I guess, right? But it was put on a big, beautiful Boeing 757. They needed a Boeing 747, to be honest with you, because there was a lot of cash. $1.7 billion was taken out of the banks and given to Iran. And on top of that, tens of billions of dollars was paid. So they tried to bribe them to make a deal, and that didn't work. It never works. And we've done a great job. And hopefully it's going to be a good relationship, and we're going to get along. And if we don't, we go back to where we started, but I don't think that's going to be necessary. The the Iran deal that we made is going to bring a lot of success to the world, because the oil was really clogged up there for a while. He would call me on occasion and say, come on, please, let's go with the oil prices. But the oil is coming way down, so I'm very honored by it. I want to thank you for your help. You've always been a help. And it's an honor to be with you. We had a very good conversation yesterday with President Zelensky and President Putin. And I see maybe we can do something there. I really do. I think they're both open to it. So now that this is finished, we're going to be focusing on that, see if we can get that one done. 25,000 people a month are dying, mostly soldiers, and that shouldn't happen. But had two very good conversations yesterday. We'll be talking about it. And we had a really exciting, I think maybe one of the most incredible evenings in the history of the White House. We had an evening last night with the fighters, and I was very happy. I called last night, very late last night, to congratulate you, because in the heavyweight division, a French fighter won. I don't know, is that maybe more important than the World Cup? To some people it might be. To some people it might be. You have a good team in the World Cup, very good team, but you have good fighters too. And you're a great country, and it's an honor to be with you. Thank you very much.
Now let's take a look at what Vice President J.D. Vance said about the situation with Iran. He just recently went on Fox. Have a listen.
First of all, I think it's a great day for the American people, because what this deal does fundamentally is two things. It immediately reopens the Straits of Hormuz. We're already seeing in the past 24 hours more traffic flow. You see oil prices coming down, but you also have the long-term commitment that Iran will never develop or procure a nuclear weapon. Those are two very big wins for the American people. I think the important thing to understand is that the agreement is fundamentally built around a two-step verification process. We say to the Iranians, you are welcome to have access to an unsanctioned economy. You're welcome to be reinvited into the world economy, but only if you honor the commitments that you make in this agreement.
So now a new week begins. General Jack Keane has analysis on where we are at the moment. Trey Yingst reporting on this throughout the weekend. Terrific job then and again today. Let's start there in Tel Aviv. Trey, hello.
Yeah, Bill, Dana, good morning. After more than 100 days in a state of war, a deal has been reached between the United States and Iran. Overnight, President Trump posted on Truth Social saying that the deal will bring peace and security to the entire region. We still await the final text of the Memorandum of Understanding, but we do know a signing ceremony is set to take place on Friday in Geneva, Switzerland. Shortly before the agreement was announced by President Trump, the Pakistani Prime Minister thanked Qatar, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia for their roles in negotiations. Prime Minister Sharif said this today from Islamabad.
After 3 months and 16 days of horrible war, with the grace of God, Iran and America have agreed and announced ceasefire, and a complete and permanent end to military operations has been declared on all fronts, including Lebanon.
Before the deal was signed, it was nearly derailed. The Israelis targeted Hezbollah with strikes in response to drone attacks on the northern part of their country. Iranian officials immediately vowed to respond with missile fire toward Israel. A diplomat with knowledge of the situation told Fox News that Qatari mediators stayed in Tehran conducting intensive negotiations coordinated with the United States. Vice President J.D. Vance described to Fox News what those final moments were like before the agreement was reached. Could you take us behind the scenes of what that moment was like leading up to this deal actually being signed?
After the Israelis struck Beirut, we were very worried, and we saw a lot of evidence that the Iranians were going to launch a large number of missiles at the Israelis. With our communication with them over the course of getting to this signed peace deal, they assured us that they were not going to respond to the Israelis, and they were going to sign this agreement and get to peace. Now, of course, you always have to verify these things, Trey, and we know that there are a lot of people in the Middle East who do not want to make this deal happen.
I spoke with President Trump just before the agreement was reached, and he was optimistic about what this agreement means for the region. He also got directly involved, ensuring that the Iranians didn't launch missiles at Israel at the last moment. Bill?
Okay, Trey, we should see him in about an hour's time when he arrives there in France. Before Friday happens, do you know of one telling moment that we should all pay attention to watch and see whether or not this deal stays intact? If you were to point to one thing, Trey, after all your conversations, what would that be right now?
Well, I would look at two things. When you broadly have an agreement like this, it's important to be measured, because it's one thing to sign a deal, it's another thing to implement a deal. And there will certainly be roadblocks and hurdles ahead. But ultimately, we will initially see the Strait of Hormuz opening again. And in response, the United States will lift the naval blockade of Iranian ports. It's this 60-day window that's critical to look at as it relates to Iran's nuclear program, and if they're actually serious about making these concessions that they have indicated they will. But we should also look at what the Iranians didn't get as part of this agreement. When they entered into negotiations with the United States, they demanded that all U.S. forces leave the Middle East, and they're not getting that. Ultimately, even if there is a U.S. military drawdown, you will still have thousands of U.S. service members in places like Bahrain, where the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet is located, and also in places like Qatar at the Al Udeid base that normally houses around 10,000 American soldiers. And so the military option will remain on the table for President Trump. And as part of this agreement, U.S. officials tell Fox News the Iranians are not going to receive sanctions relief until they uphold their end of the bargain.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you later. Bye for now.